Since the domestication of plants and animals, we have learned how to transform agriculture to suit our needs. We've made it bigger, better, faster, stronger, and now agriculture is so far removed from its agrarian origins that it is now more an expression of human power and less of a way of simply feeding oneself. However, over the last semester, I've been learning about how to view agriculture in a different light. How to view food as a form of sustenance, not as a commodity, and how this way of thinking could save our agricultural practices. Currently, the world is facing a grave agricultural problem. The world population has doubled over the past 40 years, but farmland hasn't. So that means that there are more people living off the same amount of arable land. And even though we produce 1.5 times enough food for every man, woman, and child on the planet, nearly 1 billion people go hungry, while over 1 billion people are malnourished. We desperately need a new food system. So how can we deal with the upcoming food crisis? Well, for starters, we can work with other countries, sharing knowledge, solutions, and techniques. This is a global problem and requires a global solution. And this is why I spent my fall semester in China. I was chosen to participate in an agricultural internship at Fujian Agricultural and Forestry University. My internship focused on promoting sustainable agricultural development and increased food security through student exchange. Under the supervision of Dr. Wang Songliang, a professor of crop science at Fujian Agricultural and Forestry University, I investigated different Chinese agricultural practices. Canada and China have a lot to learn from each other. The countries are so completely different, which leads the two countries to have dramatically different approaches to problems. Despite the fact that China's rapid industrialization left them using Western agricultural methods, China still has a rich history of important philosophies, with core themes like understanding humans to be part of nature rather than apart from it, and striving to live your life in a way that does not affect your surrounding environment. Traditional Chinese philosophical thought emphasizes the connected and creative quality of life. These philosophies have the potential to dramatically transform agricultural practices and to improve their environmental sustainability. China's environmental future may depend on reclaiming some of its past, and I was lucky enough to see this taking place. One place I visited was Jiamei Farm, a small community-supported agriculture project located just outside the city. Mr. Chang Wei, the owner, uses integrated farming systems that utilize pre-existing natural relationships. For example, instead of intensive chemical-based rice farming, Mr. Wei raises ducks on his land and releases the ducks into his rice paddy fields. He exploits natural symbiotic relationships between rice and ducks for higher productivity and less environmental damage. The ducks feed on insects and unwanted weeds in the rice field, thus protecting the rice crop without the use of pesticides or herbicides. The duck droppings provide a natural fertilizer to the crop. And furthermore, the presence of ducks in the rice paddy fields creates movements in the waters, resulting in less nitrogen oxide and methane gas emissions. My internship also introduced me to Jinsao technology, a new way of farming mushrooms. China is a major producer and consumer of edible and medicinal mushrooms, and traditional mushroom cultivation used millions of acres of trees annually, and the environment in fungus-producing areas was deteriorating every day. In order to solve the problem and save environmental resources, Professor Lin Jianxi of Fujian Agricultural and Forestry University started research on fungus production using grass instead of wood, and eventually invented Jinsao technology. The Jinsao technology also uses the cyclical thought that is associated with traditional Chinese philosophies. To get the most from Jinsao technology, the grasses and mushrooms are usually grown in close vicinity to farm animals. This way, fewer inputs are required because the grasses, the mushrooms, and the animals provide benefits to each other. The grass is feed for the animals and a substrate for the mushrooms. The mushroom residue acts as an organic fertilizer for the grass and as a feed additive for the animals. And the animal manure provides nutrients for the grasses and the mushrooms. With Jinsao technology, it is not necessary to add external inputs since the plants and animals are symbiotically interacting. Jinsao technology was developed in China but has been shared with other countries such as Papua New Guinea and South Africa. Jinsao can be planted in a majority of environments, and it grows quickly while increasing soil fertility, preventing soil erosion, and absorbing CO2. This vegetation has been used for poverty alleviation in developing countries, but could possibly be implemented in Canada. In Canada, mushroom production uses hefty amounts of pesticides, thereby rendering the mushroom residue unusable. So even though many areas in Canada have soil that is low in organic material, mushroom residue, a very effective compost fertilizer, cannot be used to remedy the poor quality soil. However, if Canada began producing mushrooms using Jinsao technology, a technology that does not need the use of pesticides, the mushroom residue could be used to improve our soil quality and increase our agricultural output. I have spent the last 3 months learning about Chinese agriculture, and I have come to learn that the food crisis is a very real and very large problem, but it is not insurmountable. Through teamwork and a willingness to learn from both developed and developing countries, we can find new and innovative ways to ensure a healthy, happy environment.